And we're back here. You guys got me just relaxing there a little too much. Woo, second hour main event. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget, live on YouTube, TME Media AZ. You can find us here. And I was going to make a comment about it, Lou. Of course, Uncle Lou joins us on Thursdays. Last week came in on Friday for that epic Conor McGregor fight we talked about and hyped up for that nonsense that happened. We'll talk about that here in a few. But came in on Friday. This week, back to his Thursday time here in studio. And Lou, first of all, looking good today.
Thank you very much.
With that colored shirt.
I mean, literally, and we even talked about it. I've never appeared in any format where it was live without a collared shirt on. Period. And last week, I don't know what I slipped on ice.
You're on vacation.
Raggy T-shirt. No, I don't buy it. Anyway.
I purposely did do that thumbnail of you in the white shirt because you kept mentioning it. I purposely did it, and then you called me out for doing that again. I was like, Lou, it's fun.
Well, and I'll say this live, so there's a record of it. You would much rather you owe me than me owe you. I'm just saying it like that, and I don't blame me if all of a sudden your luck turns bad. All of a sudden, don't come looking over here. But I will say this: It's the dog days of summer in Phoenix. It's humid like St. Louis in Phoenix right now, yet it's still $1.06. And that's just what we live with. It's our pain. We deal with it. But I'm happy to be here. This is a perfect time. I've just finished the brass tacks of my NFL study. We got the World Cup final will be this weekend, and there's the British Open right now. And I'm going to be in Las Vegas over the weekend. So
this weekend?
This weekend. Nice. I'm going to Las Vegas. In fact, now that the fights are on Paramount, rather than have to go to a casino and rent a table and just throw hundies at everybody because I want to get together with my boys and watch the fights, I can go to our little drinking establishment because it's on Paramount. And
do they do regular? I'm assuming you mean like a bar?
Regular TV, so the bar can have it. And
really?
They have a party room there. I'm going to have people in our community there, and we'll have a few laughs and watch some fights, and I'm really looking forward to it.
So that's what I wonder. I don't go to bars for that type of stuff, but I never thought of that. But you don't always get them like you used to. I know there's UFC bars that set it up and do it, but
now any
like
bar
that
can do it, and any living room can do it because of this new format, and so that frees me from having everybody to go to a casino to right off the strip on Trop, and it's a little hideout joint that we have that's well known, Oasis Bar and Grill.
I was gonna say, you gonna name it so everybody's gonna flock in there.
I want to give them the props. It's owned by the Gone family that owns the South Point, where I stay. So it's all one big happy family, and the people there are great. The food is super. They're gonna do this for me, but they know there's going to be 8 to 12, 15, guys in our industry all there watching the fights and telling lies. So it'll be fun. It'll be eating wings.
You have to. How do you do betting then when you do that? Out of curiosity.
That's a good one. Most of them have apps, and I only have.
But you can't use most of the apps in Las Vegas.
You can use
Circa?
all of the local apps in Las Vegas. I have Circa and Westgate.
Okay. Yeah. I was just curious, because I always forget to play. I always forget to play something, and then I'm in Vegas, and I'm like, dang it.
You're right, because you can't play no DraftKings in Vegas.
No, you gotta go down to the actual.
I'll be coming in places. To go across, and a lot of my bets will be done in this fight card. I'm going to have maybe 3 bets, so it's not like the last couple cards.
Oklahoma City this weekend, by the way. We'll talk about that coming up. I'm excited for this main event, at least, on Saturday night. Of course, we'll talk last week's fight card as well. Some good fights on there. Last couple, we'll talk to Lou about that as well coming up here as well. But, the Open Championships happening right now. I know you like to talk to your industry counterparts and everything. About anything. Do you have anybody you're looking at this weekend on the top 10 or top 20 finishes over there in England?
I love playing that total. This week it was 267.5, up or higher or lower. And I asked all my golf guys, 3 of them. 2 said one side, 1 said the other. You know what that meant? No bet.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Nobody knows.
I don't want to flip a coin.
Yeah.
So really, this tournament, I'm on my own, and I played.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now,
I
do you
played-
think it's flip a coin because it's in England with the way that course is, with the wind that could possibly come in? Do you think that was what it was?
I listened to
or-
all that. I just asked the
Okay.
golf
I was
guys,
just
man.
curious.
I wish I could find my dialogue.
Because I mean, it's going to change. That's the thing about being over there. Is like today is one way, tomorrow's going to be like the opposite, and it's it's hard to play it. Yeah,
They don't know
it's a
about
firm
this or that or
course.
the other thing.
The firm course right now, but if they do get some rain, it's going to turn into a sloppy. I know.
I took, but so I made a bet one on my own, and it's Scotty versus Rory, and Rory's getting 1.5 strokes. Sounds like a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, at least as I walked in here, Scotty ended the day 2 under.
Yep.
And Rory's 1 over at 5, so Rory has had a little bit of a slower start.
Yeah, still there, 1 over for Rory. Yeah, I didn't get to see
So
his
that tells
beginning,
me
but yeah,
afternoon
bogey right
could
off
have
the
been
bat.
different than the morning. Who knows? One's good, one's bad.
Yes.
They're both terrible. We played at the Sand Hills Golf Course in Nebraska back when I lived there and when I was a competent golfer. And we would play 36, and when we'd go out early in the morning, and the golf card had no handicap on it because the pro would know the wind, and he'd handicap the track for you, and then you'd come in and have lunch, but the wind would have changed, and so he would then handicap the afternoon for you, and you'd go out and play. No sand traps, no rakes in the sand traps. Well, that's crazy. Why? Because by the time you stepped out of there, the wind blew it over anyway. So it is some links golf.
Yeah, the scores from the morning guys have been better than the afternoon guys for the most part.
It's what it looks like.
Yeah.
But again, it's early. It's
Again.
round one. I'm not going to miss the cut today. I just got to keep Rory, at even. If I can keep him,
Close to that.
Scotty's 2. As long as I'm 2 or 3 away, I think I got a shot. The issue is I think Scotty, because there's been less, there's less expectation, and people are looking, everybody and their brother betting is Fitzpatrick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So maybe this is a good time to look at Scotty.
Well, part of that's he missed that cut last week at the Scottish Open,
Mm-hmm.
so people seem to turn down on him a little bit. The one surprise guy today that a lot of people are negative on right now, Bryson DeChambeau, has missed. I actually took him to make the cut this weekend.
Uh-oh.
I know, but that's a daring thing, right? Because he's missed the last, was it 3 or I know it's definitely 3. It might have been 4 last majors. He hasn't made the cut.
Yeah.
Well, he's -3 after today.
Oh,
So
he is.
I'm on the right side. Yeah, he's finished. He was in that morning group. He's -3 today. So give me a little bit of hope, Lou.
Well,
all right, I might come through on that.
After you telling me that what you just told me, I'd look to fade him tomorrow.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If he's
gonna put up
-3
an
today.
88.
Yeah, that's a good point. I need to make a note on that because I don't think that way. I have to get around to think that
I'm
way as
cursed
well.
with it.
Hey, Lou, tell everybody where they can find you. Of course, I know we're back to Oklahoma City. Maybe we'll get some Oklahoma Cityans and like when they always go to Europe and stuff. We get a lot of listeners and stuff from that area. Maybe we'll get some Oklahoma Cityans in this week.
Oak City, Tulsa. I know Oklahoma because coming from Nebraska, we had a big rivalry all the time. Anyway, I'm a sports handicapper, and I look at just select sports. I try and dominate the sports I work. I have a web page which really comes in handy because last week I was fortunate enough to be on so many discussions and shows like Steve has, talking about the fights that I couldn't get to. I looked up, it was 5, and I hadn't done my blog yet. So I have a web page where I can put all that stuff in backup, or if I'm traveling like this week, et cetera, et cetera. So the webpage, gamblu.com, there you can learn everything about me. I do, the top band gives you everything. I do a daily blog, which is this week's fights. Those will start turning NFL oriented in the fall. I do a couple podcasts. You can learn about it if you scroll down. But really, we support the San Xavier mission here in here in Arizona. It's the oldest mission in the country, located south of Tucson, about 2 hours south of Phoenix as well. And they're doing great work down there. We route what we can to the mission, and we carry their link on our page so that you can too. And Steve always lets me highlight the great work they're doing at the San Xavier mission And I say thank you to Steve every week.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Greatest thing to happen in Tucson right there, Lou. Or south of Tucson.
I think it's the greatest thing to happen in the whole Southwest. 16 like 78 or something.
Doing my little dig on Tucson
Think how
here.
old that is. 16 something, that thing.
And
they
it's
just restored it.
Yeah.
The new pictures of it are killed.
Is it done? Because I know we
Yes.
were there over winter when we were coming back from our New Mexico trip for the New Year and everything. We stopped by there and they still have the sketch. So it is done now, the new scaffolding's done?
I was going to say yes, but you know what? It could easily be some AI guy that does
Yeah.
what it's going to look like.
Well,
Oh,
they did a
I don't
nice
know
thing.
what
There
I'm
was
looking at
scaffolding
anymore.
up there, but they had this nice little cover on there that you could tell it was like a
saw
a
a-
picture of it. But it makes it look like there's no work being done on
I
it
saw
or
a
anything like
recent
that.
photo that looks sharp,
Did you?
and it looked
I
finished.
wonder. Okay.
I don't know, though.
Yeah, I don't know what I can't remember what the time frame was on that. Of course, we're into that. We got NFL starting here, training camps. I mean, we're looking forward to your breakdown of the Hall of Fame game coming up here between the Arizona Cardinals
Don't
and
hold
the
your breath.
Carolina Panthers.
Who's in it? Carolina and who?
Carolina and Cardinals.
Oh, the Cardinals.
Yeah,
are
the
in it.
Luke Kuechly's being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and of course Larry Fitzgerald. So they're the Hall of Fame teams. They both report next week, and then everybody else pretty much is the week after that for camp coming up here. So,
Boy, you think like Donor, Luis Gonzalez, Larry Fitzgerald, Arizona, Phoenix has really had a fortunate time with family type, grounded, level-headed, great superstars that lived in the area.
Mhm.
Currently, we're visiting the cancer center, the Banner Cancer Center at McDowell and like 10th Street. My wife has cancer, and we go up there and we open up the third floor as she goes to get her chemo treatments, and that right there's a picture of Larry's mother,
yeah.
who built the gosh darn thing. And the place is state of the art and killer. And so I went on a tangent, but Phoenix people have had really, really good superstars.
Yeah.
When you list those three guys, it's really big.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong
Kurt
from
Warner,
the sports perspective.
excuse me for not mentioning him.
Oh yeah, well, we can list a lot of them out there. Do me a favor, Lou, and pull that microphone just a little bit closer to you.
sorry.
Dale's been off, so that mic's been like all over that table there.
Rarely do people have to ask me to talk louder.
Just take some of the
we go.
outside sound on it and
there we
stuff
go.
like
Sorry.
that, right? But no, it's good. So, of course, you got football coming our way. You've gone through the Warren Sharps stuff. Did you get them all done now?
Oh, yeah, baby, I'm
go.
ready.
That means we're ready to go for the season,
I
folks.
got arrows in my tether, but we're not going to.
No.
I mean, we can start talking about it, but I'm not ready for releases.
Yeah,
yet.
no. The only one you've really talked about
Arizona.
is Ravens. Well, Ravens
Ravens.
under 11.5. And I think I looked it up. I think that line's moved to 10.5 now, I believe, as of like last week as well. So what I'm getting at on that is
I think you could be looking at something else.
Oh, I could be? Okay.
I think.
Okay, because I looked it up on DraftKings and
looking
season
it
total.
up
And I
on
want to say it was 10.5. You might be right. But I was going to say, if that is the case, that means a lot of people are agreeing with that under 11.5 for the
I
Ravens
don't think it's moved there.
coming up here. But yeah, that is a big movement for before in the season, right? How many people are actually looking at that stuff coming up here? Well, Lou's looking that up, of
People
course.
are starting to look now, especially as these distractions get out of the way.
The World Cup and-
the golf tournament.
Yeah, the Open's a big gambling tournament as well coming up here. And then baseball, second half of the season coming our way as well. I'm looking it up here, what I got it here. Let me see if I can find it.
11.5 minus 140 to the under for Baltimore.
Really? So it is. Okay. So I might have looked up
It's what I released today.
something else. You did. Yeah. Okay. So I must have looked up something, or I just made it up. I don't know.
And so
I did look it up. But.
And when you look at that, then you can play games here under 10.5 plus 125. I would absolutely play each of those. The money's to be made at the under 10.5, and that's how you have to start thinking about these win totals.
Okay.
So I'll take one at 11.5, and I'll pay the 140, and I'm taking one at 10.5 at plus 125. Hit them both, and I'm 225 ahead on a $2 bet.
Are those full bets or are those
full unit bets?
Full unit bets. Okay, for both of those. So that's the things you do that I just
I love.
I
love that. I love to and like teams like Arizona, Tennessee, teams that people think are going to be dog meat that I think might be better than. I love. I'll take that up.
You said that it was 2 weeks ago. You said that you can't get any lower for the Cardinals.
I said I spend a little bit of time looking at the Cardinals this year.
Yeah. So
even with all that baggage,
your phrase stuck with me when you said can't get any lower.
Well, it can't. Can it?
A good point.
What's going to have to happen? A meteor is going to have to hit the practice facility.
Yeah. No, I count football season as Lou getting the Warren Sharp 1,000-page document and Lou finishing going through the 1,000-page. That means we're almost here, baby.
I was home. It came out early, and it was over that 4th of July where I had time to really dive into it. And so I got each year the pressure for NFL starts a little bit earlier. I hold it off till July because really, as soon as the NCAA tournament NBA's over, and the hockey's over, there's nothing to talk about. So these sports books that sponsor all these programs, they got people talking about what bets you got to go run out and make now in the NFL. And they create a market when there should be none and when traditionally there hasn't been. So you got to kind of watch what you're doing. You don't want to go run out and bet a team right now in the NFL, especially to achieve anything positive right now, and people would say, well, why would you say that? You could get the best of the number. Well, you tie up your money a long time, and what happens if the day before the season the starting center breaks a leg? Now you're in trouble. All right, so injuries can only hurt you, and so you bet the positive things in the season or right before the season starts when you know that your roster is healthy. If you want to bet something this early and you got to make a bet, find a good under. Well, why? Because then the injury only helps you.
Yeah.
Does that mean at night you're saying, oh, I hope, the tight end for the Packers gets hurt? No, that's not what you're saying. But the reality is there's trades, there's injuries. These kids put so much flex on their bodies. Their tendons are snapping all the time. And so there's turnover. And so you have to kind of approach it like that. To me, positives get bet the day before the season, and right now, anything that you're pessimistic about, you want to take a little nibble of, go ahead.
Yep, and then don't forget, I know you mentioned it, but don't forget, Sneak Teep Podcast is up. Comes out on Mondays for you guys, for Lou, for this week's fight card. And then this week, About Business Podcast will be tomorrow.
And it won't be. It'll be on the webpage again because I'll be driving to Las Vegas in the rain, apparently.
That's why I wanted to add, we're getting a huge rainstorm supposedly starting this afternoon.
Yes, but as I get to Vegas, I think I'm getting out of it. But I've been on that route.
You go 93 up to Kingman?
And it ain't great.
Yeah.
Though that 93, is a landmine anyway.
Well, drive safe, no doubt about that.
No, I'll be out early, and we'll do the best we can do.
Yeah. So Lou's doing all that. So on the webpage again for the picks this week, but a smaller fight here. So that's all Lou does. We got to wait for hockey season. You don't do regular season hockey, so playoffs next year and I was reading all this free agency stuff the other day. They announced their schedules and all of that, and I went, who cares?
Yeah, right now we're getting ready for the monster. and really, as soon as the Hall of Fame game hits, the UFC will definitely be forced to take a back seat, only because every other sport has to as well. The NFL is a huge avalanche.
Also, college football reasons.
It's where everybody wants to
Sunday
be.
night or Saturday night football.
But that doesn't hurt because it gives me time to work the NFL, which is not easy to beat.
Well, if it was easy, we'd all do it. We'd all be millionaires, right? Yeah. From that perspective. But Lou, let's get into this big conversation that we got here. Last week's UFC event. It was such a good fight. I'll just give my synopsis. Such a good fight card to the last two fights. So we'll of course talk about this here, but the couple of fights I want to talk to you earlier in the day about was one, Mario Bautista getting the win, kid from here in town fighting up there at the MMA lab. Going in, I know you liked him in this fight as well, going into it against Corey Sandhagen. Unanimous decision for him as well. I know you're high on Bautista, but I'm assuming nothing's changed on your opinion on him. But I wanted to ask you more about Sandhagen. I like Sandhagen in fighting as well. You just ran into Bautista there. Does your opinion change on him at all, or is it just the person he ran up against?
To 4 and a 5 fought.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how good the UFC is to have them each ranked there. The issue was they just made a teeny mistake, and it's 4 that's 5 and 5 that's 4. And we said it's going to be Bautista's strength and wrestling. That's what got Sandhagen the last time was Sterling. And so that was a lovely win because we had Bautista as the second leg of a parlay. So our one unit was returning like 2.2 units. And so not only was I proud of the kid because I fist him all the time and he sees me up there hanging around all the time learning about MMA, but I'm so proud for John Crouch and the guys at the lab. That's a whole family up there, and now Bautista's being talked about in championship form, and who's right there that he may have to fight is O'Malley.
Yeah.
And they're acquaintances, and that's an unusual
both trained down here, yeah.
That's an unusual circumstance. So let's see if we can avoid that ideally, but if we can't, then you want my opinion, and I won't give it until the About Business podcast comes out, I can tell you that, but I know that opinion right now. Be that as it may, you're about to whine about 2 short fights, and I'm going to tell you that when I have money on a guy, I don't. The last thing I want to do is survive and bite my nails 15 minutes or 25 minutes in a split decision. I want it easy. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk a couple other fights before we get to those.
And I got them easy, so don't disregard. When you make it easy, even on a deal like McGregor.
Yeah.
Who cares? You won your money. See, that's what gambling will do to you. I don't give 2 hoots what the guys in the stands thought and all that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're good. Because I knew that was going to be your take. We're going to clash on that just because of the disappointment side of it. But before we get to those two, Brendan Royval and Kavanaugh here.
Yeah.
3rd round submission by Royval in this fight here. Change your opinion on Kavanaugh going in with that submission loss.
No, it showed what Royval can do when focused. Royval, and I had been talking Kavanaugh. Fortunately for us,
he was a big favorite.
We didn't bet him.
Yeah.
We used Riley. We didn't use Kavanaugh. That, again, sometimes I'd rather be lucky than good. But Kavanaugh made a good showing of himself against a guy in Royval that wasn't going to get beat that day.
Yeah, I mean, it was a phenomenal fight, just at the ending there as well. King Green, Terrence McKinney in this fight. King Green, I just like the way he fights. Last week, I saw you on another show as well, where you said the same thing of, Green's great until he just will let you down. Showed up into this fight, getting his face pounded in at the beginning of this, and it flipped in an instant. Main thing on this fight, King Green won this fight. Ref stopping the fight with 1 second to go in the round. Was that an early stoppage in your eyes?
What? No. However, I will say this: we had talked Green all week. Then I kind of, as fight came closer, I started thinking McKinney, and on the podcast we had like a quarter of a unit or a third of a unit on fight starts round 2.
Yep.
So that 1 second sure would have been nice.
I had that too.
And I was going to think I was so doggone smart by hitting that thing. And I was right there and they call it. And I just, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I had the
It was a fraction
round.
of a unit. So that was easy.
Yeah, I had to start round 2, just my standard 5. But it was, I was like, dang it, 1 second. It's just, man, the ref knows when that clock is. I mean, he was protecting himself, but he wasn't really doing it. So I understand the stoppage.
He got liver shotted. When you get liver shotted, your arms drop, your body shuts down, and that's why I'm saying it wasn't early. People were, but McKinney said it was because he could take another shot or two to the head. And
that's the thing. 1 second to go. I would tend to favor towards, even if you kind of like get in there a little bit to shield him a little bit with 1 second. Well, that's the other side.
Okay,
I
who
know.
knows what
See,
the ref?
you
Who
look
knows
at it,
what the ref had?
this is what's so great about having you on is I put my $5 down for fun and everything. Obviously it's about business and stuff. So I look at it as yeah, you want to win, it, but at the same time, I want to see good fights also. So that's where we kind of clash. That's why it's so much fun having you on here. Before we get into those last two, I did want to ask you about Robert Whitaker and Krylov here. Just because Whitaker ends up getting that KO there in that fight in the third round. Whitaker is an undersized man at that light heavyweight level. He's undersized at most where he fights here and everything. Krylov was just a taller, longer reach type of a fighter there. Whitaker going into this fight and fighting the way he did just impressed me a lot because he was at a lot of disadvantages there and got that KO. Would you recommend he stays up at these levels, or would you like to see him move back down a little bit so he's not as undersized? Or he handled himself well in this. He can probably handle anybody at that size, right?
Last I knew, I don't have any letters from Whitaker asking me what he should do with his career. But to answer your question, he said he's staying up there.
Okay.
And I don't know what disadvantages he had. Yes, he had size disadvantages, but his feet were better. He was faster. He could evade strikes better, and he was able to get to Krylov. And I was leaning Krylov all week going into that fight. Yep. Another one I'm glad we didn't use because you learned something there, and that Whitaker may have a little bit of gas left in the tank.
Yeah, and that's the only reason, I say disadvantage on size. It wasn't a disadvantage in the ring. But when you looked at them and they came out, you were like, this is a big.
Yeah, but Krylov was Frankenstein.
Yeah, he was getting his shots where Krylov would be blocking and Whitaker's jabs and stuff would get
Whitaker
through the
was
things.
The Roadrunner.
Yeah, it was amazing. So when I use the word disadvantage with Whitaker, it just means it's a visual. It wasn't when he got in the ring, that's for sure.
Right, exactly.
Gable Stevenson, his first UFC match, expected to win. This fight went longer than it should have because of a low blow there on one of the kicks against Ellison. Just because he's a debuter, everybody's expecting this kid to be good here as well. Just your thoughts on Stevenson and that, obviously a huge favorite in this.
He really raw, really, really raw. You could see when he got down, but all the potential in the world. And working with John Jones and at Albuquerque with Jackson Winkle. John, I mean, he's going to do this each time, and Hokett's in that gym. So look for that kind of. There's already a little dialogue going back and forth between those two. That's funny. So there's that. But what I walk away with is who wants to fight that dude that was just in there with Stevenson?
Yeah, Ellison.
That's a bad hombre right there. He was willing in there and going to try and knock him out, and he had power, and he rang Stevenson up a time or two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was an interesting. I'll tell you this: we went to a viewing party with it, and Ethan came along, and he shows up, and Ethan goes, "Hey, he was in the WWE because he was in the W for like 3 years when he first got out of the Olympic stuff and everything." So Ethan recognized him.
Stevenson was,
yeah, and then like 3 or 4 people showed up to this party, and a couple of them showed up after the fight, and they're like, "I just want to see that Gabe Stevenson guy fight." So this guy's coming with a lot of hype where people were coming into this
He's
thing.
a gold medal Olympic freestyle wrestler.
Ethan, who knows nothing about UFC, recognized him from other things. 3 or 4 people walked in asking if his fight had happened yet and stuff. So this guy's got a following, and if he can perform, the UFC likes that, right? So they'll be promoting him as he goes forward. And you're right, Lou. I'm going to complain about 2 short fights. I expected the Saint Denis fight and the Pimblett fight to be the fight of the night. What's up with Saint Denis here?
I told you he was uneven, and Patty was. I didn't see, and there were a lot of people. Benoit Saint Denis gonna just run right through Patty. I just didn't see it. He has had those Moicano and Poirier fights, and here's the third one. I'm not surprised. And really, Patty, I don't like him. But I'll make money on him. I like him now. You know what I'm saying? Because that fight had Patty on it for me, and it was a huge night it's a second huge night in a row. We've gone from like minus 1390 units to minus 1.5. So we've been on fire the last 2-3 cards, and that's going to continue. I'm happy to say that because it's hard to get up here and say, yeah, been 3 cards and I'm going the wrong way, but it is what it is. As Parcells says, you are what your record says.
So, I mean, is it for Saint Denis' next fight? Is it just who his opponent's going to be, kind of a situation, or if you ever completely soured on him moving forward?
I think there's a card in France coming up, and they probably give him some subject.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Well, I have to wait and see what they do, but I think they like him, and I think they like the French exportation of their product, and so it would behoove them to give him a favorable opponent. But again, the UFC ain't calling me asking me who to make fights with. But for Patty's relevant immediately now because he went all 5 with Gaethje, and he just did that to the God of War and made it look simple. So
I don't even think he broke a sweat. I mean, he had him in
barely.
He had him in that whatever pseudo headlock there, like instantly. It was like the bell rang, and Saint Denis was just like, "Come grab my neck."
That's right. Exactly.
What just happened? It was 52 seconds only because it took that long for Patty to make him fall asleep.
Looks like maybe sometimes the French have the same IQ level as the Brazilians. As in none.
Do the thing you're not supposed to do and have the fight end
or
early.
No IQ. Sorry.
And then of course Max Holloway, Conor McGregor. I just just in terms of this fight, I was viewing this. And I said it last week on air. I don't remember if I said it with you, Lou, but I was saying it on the regular program with Dale. And I was saying that I just think this is kind of like the Mike Tysons and that YouTuber guy, the Paul kid and stuff. This is just Conor McGregor coming back for a payday. Holloway's probably going to win this thing. It's probably not going to be a close fight. You had it under 5th round not starting as well. But so the fight went how it went. Is it derelict? How does that do for a gambling handicap when a guy goes in there and he's injured right off the bat?
Or if he goes in there injured?
That's what I'm getting at here.
Okay.
The UFC, a lot of people are saying McGregor was injured before. There's video of him going into a pain management clinic the week of and limping into that. And then the UFC letting that fight go off. 80% of the gambling cards were on McGregor in this fight. How do you handicap this and take this seriously if the UFC is going to let an injured guy go into this ring and not perform and the fight ends almost instantly because he can't stand?
We don't know what the UFC knew.
Yeah.
We don't know if McGregor was hurt before or not, despite what it may look like or what it doesn't. I don't have facts to make those judgments. All I know is 37 years old, the lifestyle that he lived, away from fighting for 5 years. He lost his last 2 going in, fighting a guy that's been real active.
Coming off a knee injury, too, in that last fight.
So we had Max straight at the minus 205. We had him inside the distance at a minus 125, and the fight to not start round 5. So it was again, huge night. It's great when it looks like I know what I'm doing because I worked so hard at this. Sometimes you watch my fight card and you think, has this guy ever handicapped a fight card in his life?
Right.
I mean, literally, it can look like that sometimes. So it's nice to be able to talk with some authority because I have a little confidence after this card. But now we're going to have to talk about this week's card. And so I'm going to quickly return to equilibrium because I just don't know. If I knew I was going to go 3 or 4-0, I'd talk about this card like I'm talking about the last one, but I don't know that. So the tone will change and we'll change our focus if you're done with.
Yeah, well, we're done with it. I just my biggest thing on that McGregor fight
you would have liked to seen 2-3 rounds of a good fight.
Well, obviously, it was just a disappointing ending. Like I literally, I texted everybody I was with, and I was like, "Let's go.
Yeah, right.
Let's just get out of here. This is stupid. What are we doing here?" Like McGregor finished, and I was like, "All right, I'm ready. Let's get out. Like, let's just walk out of this house."
I was too busy
we made
counting.
money on it, and I don't care about that, from my perspective, but. Just disappointing end of the night completely where it's just like, oh, all right. But my biggest concern is obviously, and what I was thinking about was more on that gambling perspective of integrity of the UFC questions come into play with that McGregor fight. Whether you believe he was injured before or not, the way that started is kind of like, man, that's a negative gambling integrity. So that's what I wanted to ask you.
It is if in fact everything goes the wrong way. I don't know facts.
Yeah.
So I'm only in the give me the facts and I'll tell you what I think is going to happen. And since I don't have facts, I don't know. I will say this: I'd be lying to you if part of the handicap of what I do now, especially since Paramount, is I always want to beware of which fighter the UFC believes or regards as more marketable and potential lightning in a bottle.
Bring
So
more
if that
eyes
says
to it.
whatever it says, you
Yeah.
take it for what it's worth.
Yeah.
But that's part of my handicap now, and that's an unfortunate thing.
Yeah, that's the you answered the question I was kind of leading you towards and kind of asking about. You're a pro, Lou. You knew where I was going with that and answered it the way it was, because it's just that's I just sit there and go, man, it's $5. I was on the right side of it, but if it went the opposite way and I lost $5, I'd be like, ah, shucks, whatever, move on with my life. But then I sit there and go, man, if I had thousands of dollars on
And people
McGregor on this fight, and then he comes in injured, I'd be upset.
And let's talk about the everybody was on McGregor, okay? Well, what happened was there was every $5 and $10 bet was on McGregor.
Yeah.
The problem was every $1,000 and $5,000 bet was on Holloway.
Yeah, the tickets
and
at 80%.
that's why the Holloway line went from minus 205. He was minus 275 by the time the fight went on. Yet the numbers of people were betting this guy, the uninformed, and the few were betting this guy, but bigger bets.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
And then I saw like the King Green fight. We took it on Thursday at plus 110. Day of the fight, a few hours before the fight card started, I saw it flip to him to minus 110. And I was like, man, there's a lot of flippage there on the King Green. Like, is there something? I obviously thought he could possibly win that fight. So I don't know. Lou, you've opened my eyes on that, and I do keep a little eye on that stuff because it does worry me.
Let me explain it to you. Why will that not happen in a month? I'll tell you why.
Because
the football market will be away. Yeah. The football market has nothing to bet on. They're betting on the UFC. So you're going to see some fluctuation right now. As soon as the Hall of Fame game comes, it's like the 98-year-old dude sitting in the hospital and the thing is barely going, and then it goes.
That makes sense because
that's exactly what's going to happen.
I saw a tweet, I think it was Tuesday, where a guy was like, there's no good numbers on the home run derby. There's no good numbers to bet on the All-Star game tonight. He goes, I'm going to go 3 games unless I'm going to do the 2 world. But he was panicking that he only has 2 events to gamble on, the 2 World Cup games, Tuesday and Wednesday. And he was all like, I don't know, I've never bet this little in my life. So that is a good point that people, a big card, a lot of eyeballs on it, nothing else on Saturday night. So everybody paid into it. I'm telling you,
they got to have something. They got itchy fingers. They got to throw something down somewhere. Just remember, sometimes the best bet is the one not made.
Yeah, absolutely. For that. Robert says, OKC, will there be flopping? Well, that's referring to the NBA team there, the Thunder. We'll talk about this week's card coming up from Oklahoma City when we come back with Uncle Lou. Don't forget, on VSIN, does a lot of other podcasts out there. You can see him out there as well on his site. He retweets it when they post his stuff. Entertaining, folks. Come on back. We'll talk this week. Coming up next. Real Matrix coming up. Lou was just saying, we saw the ad there and was talking about the Angry Page. New episode coming out. It's on Rumble or on the free podcasting systems. You can listen to a show, while you're driving to Vegas if you want, for the Angry Patriot there.
I've known, if you don't know, his name's Dave
Yeah.
Nash. I've known Nasher for a long time. He's a great, solid dude. I don't know that I understand a lot of what he talks about in this show because I worry about this, but he's really a pretty good sports opinion maker himself, and he's very good at hockey. He used to play.
Yes. He was a minor league baseball player.
Played baseball,
Yeah.
but
he's
he
huge
was
hockey.
weird on hockey. Yeah.
Very huge on hockey,
Yeah.
and loves to gamble a little bit. So when you guys get together, it's fun to watch you guys kind of talk in those contexts as
fun.
well. So.
Good dude. Very good dude.
So this week coming up here, you've got Oklahoma City this weekend. So kind of a letdown. I'm going to say a letdown type fight just off of that huge numbered card last week as well. From that, Oklahoma City, big ring for Oklahoma City? Or is
Yes.
it something? Okay.
Large cage.
5 p.m., by the way, on Saturday for the main card coming up. I do like the main card in this. Now, prelims, it's not fair for me to say this is an Apex fight, but for me, there's only a few fighters that I even recognize on this card as a, not a savant of this. So obviously Stuart Nichols in the prelims here. I've seen him before. Bashi, I've seen him before. Delgado in the prelims. So Lou, I'm going to let you tell me which prelims. I see a lot of black shadows here, so we either got debuters or fill-ins. I'll let you on the prelims tell me which fights should we tune into here in this card for Oklahoma City on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, we want to watch them all, but there's just a lot of fluff in here, and so I'll take a couple quick shots. This Lebonsaye fights a South Korean. His name's very easy to pronounce. The easy part of it, Ko. So I got Ko against this U.S. fighter.
It's only easy because you skipped the first name there, Lou.
I skipped one of them. Okay, but Jean Paul is his last name Lebosonyani.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And he's
Anyway,
an American
John
fighter
Paul.
on top of it. Yeah.
John Paul against Ko. They're 170 pounders. John Paul, 6 years younger, inch taller, switch hitter. Beat Austin Vanderford to come in here. Comes in with a little momentum. Vanderford is Paige Van Zant's significant other. And then this kid Ko, pretty good ground game, a lefty. I think he beat Oban Elliott, which raises an eyebrow for me. As well, Ko opened 250. Now we're seeing him down 215, getting close to minus 200.
He's minus 205 on DraftKings right now.
This one is be real quiet and wait and watch the About Business podcast,
Right.
or tune into it because I could be interested.
Check the website on this one coming up here, but obviously
It's
money
Ko
going.
or no for me on this fight, though.
Okay, because I'd say a lot of money looks like it's going towards John Paul here.
That's exactly correct.
To start. So About Business, check it out on the website, and we retweet out when he does get that posted as well there for that welterweight bout. Then tell us what's the next one. Is the Bashi Delgado fight anything to pay attention to? By the way, I brought up Nickel because I've seen him fight before, but just so
he's
you know,
such a huge underdog.
he's plus 700.
That's why I breezed.
I know,
right
but I'm
by
just
it.
letting everybody know since I mentioned it. Somebody might go, why didn't you mention the one you talked about? It's 1,100 favorite there for Korea coming up this weekend. So not necessarily,
So
one you want to bet.
McMillan and Montez is a fight where McMillan trains here in Phoenix with Tim Welsh, and he's going to have huge size here, 6 foot against 5'7", 4 years younger, 7-inch reach advantage against this Montez from Venezuela. The only reason I'm interested in this is because McMillan's from here. He beat a guy named Zucchini to get into the UFC. Zucchini barely belongs in the UFC, I have to be honest. And about the only guy that he could beat or could beat him, 2 guys at the bottom level, is Ricky Turcios. And how does Ricky Turcios fit here? That's who Montez beat to get this fight. So these 2 guys each beat stiffs to get here. I don't know which one's going which way, but I'll say McMillan is younger, bigger, and trains here. So I'll be pulling for him. And then, yes, Delgado and Bashi, great fight. Bashi's a really, really highly talented wrestler savant. and he is going to absolutely try and take down Delgado, who has dubious takedown defense coming into this fight. But Delgado trains at the MMA lab here, and the MMA lab's an unbelievable gym, especially if you're looking to grapple and wrestle. So he's seen nothing but that. And what they do is they'll make him go 2 rounds heavy with a wrestler and just wear him out, and then they'll put a fresh striker that hasn't been in for the 2 rounds for the 3rd round, or they'll put 2 rounds of the striker in, make him have to try and deal with the striker, which Delgado will surely have advantage in. And then after he's tired, they'll put a fresh wrestler in on him in the 3rd round and try and wear him out. They know how to train a fighter. Delgado opened a small favorite here, -170. He's now close to pick.
Yeah, it's -118, and then Bashy's -102 right now.
So there's money. There's money come in on Bashy. Beautiful, because I'm all over Delgado here and already released him on the webpage and on the VSIN digital magazine.
Over under 1.5 for this fight for a featherweight bout. One of the do.
What's the price,
it favors the over -210.
There
is where
you
it's
go.
at right
That's
now.
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
That fight going
But
on.
that's what I was going to say, though. Featherweight bout, it would be a submission that would finish. Does somebody have power to do knockout?
Oh yeah, Delgado definitely has the advantage on the feet, and what he needs to do is just make sure he sees the 2nd round, because the tight wrestler, 25-year-old kid still learning. That's where he'll begin to maybe wane, where Delgado's used to fighting higher competition all 3 rounds. That'll be the advantage. But look for the 1st round for Bashy to be strong and take him down a couple times. It's going to be, we're going to have to sweat it.
Okay, perfect. For those 2 fights there, then we get into the main card here. Our old friend from Brazil, Tabitha Ricci, is back in there, female fighter against Fatima Klein here. I've always thought Ricci was a fun fighter to watch. Everything, obviously, women's fight over 2.5, just so you know, -375. There. But Tabitha Ricci's a big underdog in this one. Klein is a -500 favorite here.
Yeah, Klein is strong. She's 5 inches taller. She's 5 years younger. Got a 7-inch reach advantage. Ricci's underside for the division. She steps in on short notice for Amanda Ribas, who had to step out of the fight. So Ricci is maybe the cutest of the ladies in the whole of the UFC roster. She is how old?
She's older, isn't
She's
she?
31
Mid-30s?
years
Yeah,
old.
okay. Oh, low 30s,
But she is as cute as a button. And I'm not a weirdo, okay? But if my kid that's 30 came home and said I'm dating Tabitha Ricci, I'd be saying way to go, son, because she's as cute as she can possibly be. And she's a tiger bulldog fighter, that she's a cornered chihuahua. And you know how mean those can be if you live down here. Issue is this Klein's the real deal, trains with Aaron Blanchfield, and eventually Klein is going to win a decision in this fight.
Okay. And then Chase Hooper here, Mitch Ramirez in a lightweight bout right now. Chase Hooper is the favorite. Right now he's a 355 favorite going into this fight.
Yeah, they give Hooper a guy they thought he could handle last out, a guy without a lot of huge power and everything, and all the dude did was knock him out. Hooper, if you grapple with him, he's going to beat you. If you stand at length with him, he's going to be okay. But if you get inside and you're dedicated and you work his body and then get to his chin, he's a tall, long, gangly kid. He don't like to get hit too well. And so all this kid Ramirez has is the ability to hit. But I just don't. This really appears to be a setup fight for the organization who likes Hooper. This appears to be a setup fight for the organization that likes Hooper to do well.
Over under on this fight is 1.5, -145 to the over. Here in this fight, just hearing what you're saying there, I found that 1.5 over.
This appears to be a fight that the organization would like to see Hooper do very well.
I wonder if people are catching on what I caught on to.
Well, I'm wondering if you are.
No, I got what you said.
Okay.
That's why I brought it up.
Okay.
Number stood out there. Middleweight bout, Jared Cannonier against Christian Leroy Duncan here. Middleweight bout for these 2 guys. If these 2 guys I've seen fight individually with each other, Duncan is a favorite coming into this fight as well. -360 right now. Over under 2.5. minus 160 to the over for this middleweight bout for these two guys.
Yeah, I mean, Duncan's just huge. He's going to be 6'2" against 5'11", 2-inch reach advantage over Cannonier, 12 years younger. Duncan's 30 and Cannonier's 42.
Jeez.
However, this is a huge step up for Duncan. He hasn't fought anybody with this kind of ring savvy, guile, mixed martial arts pedigree, and arsenal. He's very well rounded. And Cannonier knows this is the end of the show, and the UFC's trying to retire him basically by putting these young studs in front of him. But I'll remind everybody, a couple fights back, they put Greg Rodriguez in against Cannonier, and he beat Cannonier, knocked him down once, I think, in the first round, came out and was sucking air in the second round. Cannonier stopped him. So Jared Cannonier is no slouch. He's no stepping stone. He's no journeyman. And I think he's going to show well for himself in this fight. He's a big underdog, and I'm not afraid of him as a big underdog. I'm not afraid of the over because I believe that, in essence, is kind of a bet for Cannonier as well. And we'll have to see how else and what other ways I may be able to consider him. Maybe the points handicap, which on DraftKings you can take Cannonier plus 3.5, and I don't know what the pay is.
Plus 110.
Plus 110 at plus 3.5. Yeah, that could easily be a...
He's plus 285 right now.
About business podcast consideration.
Perfect.
He trains
Cannonier
here at the MMA lab, by the way. He's probably next to John Crouch, and the coaches, the absolute father figure leader of the gym.
This I'm looking forward to this fight as well. I know the odds are a little off, so when you say Cannonier on this, piqued my interest here because just on the paper, I thought this is going to be a better fight, I think, than the odds are telling us.
He's fought at heavyweight.
Yeah,
that's
where I think I last saw him at. Yeah,
and he's fought now at middleweight, so he's felt the power of big, strong guys, and this dude ain't going to scare him with his size. He's seen it before.
Any worries? Probably not, but any worries about him going smaller for this fight, for the weigh-ins and everything?
Any worries about
for Cannonier to get smaller if he, heavyweight, light heavyweight, and then keep shrinking?
Making weight? No, the guy's ripped. If you see him, you shake his
muscle.
hand, and it's like.
I haven't met him in person, but I see his picture.
He's a great kid too. He's just a really, really fine young man. These kids that go to these gyms, man, and I speak of the MMA lab because I know it, but it's the same at Fight Ready or Tim Welsh's gym, or for that matter, Sarah Weidman. They could be on the street. They could be selling this, that, or the other thing, robbing. No, they're all motivated in young, feeding off one another, trying to better themselves. You can't help as a mature guy like me, saying it lightly, to go hang around in that environment on a Saturday is really invigorating. It really is.
Yeah, the thing that shocks me about it that I didn't know is how close these gyms are. So guys will show up to fights to support other fight mates and things. They train with them all the time. They see them. Yeah. I don't know how good of friends they are, but they work as one, almost like one entity within a gym with that support line. And I didn't know that was out there until I started doing all this stuff.
It's an unbelievably tight community. It really is. And while there'll be rivalries within a city, but you take a kid from New York and throw him into Albuquerque, or to throw him into Extreme Couture in Vegas, you just ask the guy, can I come by and work out? Oh yeah, here it is. Come on. There's no hard kicking, no head kicks, no this, that. They go over a few, boom, and then they take in the other culture. It's good for gym and individual.
Yeah, that's the one thing I've learned that kind of shocked me. Not that guys are like by themselves, but you just expect guys to kind of go in there and keep to themselves. Egos probably get involved, and I'm sure that happens, but you don't see that in here.
At the lab, it's a family, and so there's none of that.
Yeah.
And that's what strikes me hardest, is that there really isn't. I mean, again, there's articles on O'Malley talking about having to fight potentially Bautista, and he's like, it's weird.
Yeah, that's what I was reading.
That's a great way for him to say that. It is. It's odd. They're buddies. They train together. They know each other. It's weird.
Then we got the main card here coming up here. Du Plessis from South Africa, and then Usman here from Nigeria battling this out. Du Plessis right now is a minus 225 favorites. I do believe his numbers come down from opening. Lou will let us know on that. Over under 3.5 for this fight, minus 200 to the over for these two guys here in a middleweight bout.
Yeah, so he Du Plessis opened 240, so it's
so
that moved a lot. Total was 3.5 minus 190, and I'm seeing 3.5 minus 190. I'm also seeing some 4.5s. So I could easily see me playing around with totals here. Usman was a champ and fought his best fights at 170. He's coming off a fight against Buckley in his last almost a year ago, where he mopped the floor with Buckley, and Buckley's a guy who doesn't understand anything about wrestling. He was designed to make Usman look good. Usman's got 2 bad knees, and in his heyday was untouchable. This ain't that Usman now. Now he's taking a fight up in weight against an ex-champ that's going to be much bigger, thicker, and stronger than he. So this is a Duplessis. Maybe Usman takes him down a couple times in the first round, but I think as the fight wears, and it will, I think the Duplessis will and size and strength, just too much for a guy in Usman that's now 39 years old, and his best is just behind him, unfortunately.
Duplessis striker, so he's got
an odd striker, bobs and weaves. He's got good strength, and he can wrestle, but he don't have Usman's wrestling, but he's got much more size and strength. So we'll see how that plays out. Usman's gonna have to wrestle him up, though. Usman will come out shot out of a cannon trying to take him down. Anything shy of that, he'll get possibly finished.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Duplessis wants to keep it up, right, and Usman wants to keep it on the ground.
I think that as a general statement is factual.
Absolutely. So, big favorite here. I'm going to call it big favorite, but 2-1, right? 225 favorite here for Duplessis going into this as well. And then 3.5. You don't see. You said 3.5. You're seeing some 4.5s out there. That does intrigue me a little bit. With the way you describe this main event as well.
Then I start to think about, well, hey, why don't I, I could easily take the over 3.5, or fight starts round 3, and then come back with fight doesn't go the distance. And so that'd give me 15 minutes of time where the fight, I could be a pig and win 2 bets. And if I don't, I could win one and lose one. I kiss my sister. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
See, that's what you do. You open up my eye. I never think about that stuff. Like you said, 15 minutes in this game is a long time for things to happen out there. So Saturday night, Paycom Center from Oklahoma City. I'm sure the crowd's going to be rapid and everything here in Oklahoma City, but kind of I'm going to say an unusual place to have a UFC card, at least for what we've seen. I don't know. I know it's a big city, but
it fits perfect the way I look at it. There's a soccer game at 2
at noon
on Saturday, 2 on Saturday here.
Oh, you're talking about soccer.
And then it goes into the fights. And then on Sunday, we got the noon championship game, which I would hope everybody be interested. I'm sure interested.
Oh, my goodness.
I have an Argentina 9-1 ticket, so I'm trying to figure out.
Still sitting on that?
I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do, because I'm going to do something. I'm not. I won't. I'll either play Spain to win the 2 units I have on it, and I either make some or don't lose any, or I'll play Spain to win a little so I can be win or win. I just do better with the original Argentina.
Yeah.
That's more like the tactics I like to use. After all this time, I want to cash that ticket.
Yeah.
And it may not be a full 9-1 when I get done with it. It may be more like 4.5 or 5.
Oh.
But I take money to the bank. I take money to the bank, not percentages.
Exactly. Oh, life's rough. I only ended up 4-1. Oh, boo.
Well, that's what I do. I try and put the future bet is only a tool to allow me to make sure I scrape.
Absolutely.
That's all I do.
Absolutely. So, that's Sunday at noon. I always forget about that third place game.
And the total went from 2.5 to 3 to 3.5, which means that who's motivated for that game?
That's my point.
How do you
both let down.
How do you even bet it? I think I think you like. I think that it's the Sunday game you want to bet.
I saw England's manager. I don't know if he said it yesterday or today, but he's like, France doesn't want to be in this third place game. We don't want to be in this third place game. None of us want to be here. And I'm like, oh, Lord, that's probably the attitude.
Especially the heat that English coach has taken.
Rightfully so, Lou. He made a catastrophic mistake yesterday that even the most novice soccer fans probably recognized early on after they took that 1-0 lead. And it was a mistake it'll go down in the annals of worst mistake you can possibly make as a coach. and that was play
it's
defense.
It's a big one.
And it's just
it couldn't happen to a better bunch. Only group it could have happened to better than the English would have been the French.
And that's what cracks me up. You sit back and think about it. This coach has worked his whole life to get to this level and coach the English national team, and it's the highest honor on the planet. He's had success everywhere he's been in order to get that job. And then you do the stupidest thing you can do and play only defense for the last 40 minutes of that game, and you lose it. And it's just like, you worked your butt off to get there. You've never done that before, and you choke in that situation. It is an amazing thing to think about.
Yeah, it's sport is cruel for one team, and
that's
the joy of winning is for Argentina.
Yeah, I said earlier, I just don't know. Like, you almost have to fire the guy just because, like, I don't know if you can recover from that. Like, your fan base is always going to hate you.
Well, your players were aware of it and discussing it. The fans, the media. I've seen a ton of it on Twitter.
Yeah, I just think for to kind of like wash your hands of it and move directions. I almost feel like you have to make that move.
He might have to move into the sunset. Like the cowboy walking off. And
it's like the South Korea manager, where even the president of because they didn't make the knockout round and they were supposed to. The South Korea president came out and said he wants an investigation of how the guy even got hired.
Oh boy!
So that guy's like, I gotta move. Like, it's that big of a deal to these guys.
South Korea.
Yeah.
I will.
So he's moved back to America now because
I've been to South Korea, and that's a tightly run operation.
Yeah. When the president comes out and goes, "We need to investigate how he even got hired," you go, "All right, kids, we're getting on the plane."
I surely would want no trouble with authorities in South Korea.
Yeah, it's such a religious thing. But that's this weekend as well. Obviously, you got Argentina. You have to figure out how to play the rest. But Ballot Business tomorrow will be posted at sometime tomorrow. I'll keep my eye open for it.
On the Gamblu webpage. I won't have the podcast out because I'm traveling. So sorry.
I'll watch for that. No, I want to be clear. And I'll watch for that too, Lou, when you post it and say it's up. I'll watch for that as well so I can retweet that and remind people not to go to the podcast. Because last week I felt bad because in my promo thing I put, go to About Business, and then like an hour later I saw you didn't do it. And I was like,
No, they were asking, and I was trying to put it out. So
yeah, so I'll look for that to remind you guys out there. If anything else, you can talk to your work people tomorrow about UFC this weekend and the fighters. Lou, appreciate it very much. We'll see you next week as well. And for everybody else, well, we'll see you next week as well. 2 more Fridays off. The last week of July, we're back to our 5 days here, but we are taking tomorrow off to get some things done. We'll see y'all on Monday, everybody. Have a great weekend.